if you are new to Logic, if you've just bought it or you're thinking about buying it and you want to basically just hit the ground running and start making music and sound straight away, this video will help you. I'm going to just explain some of the onboard stuff that you get free with Logic, the instruments. So I'm going to just create a brand new track. Software instrument is where we're going for. Just press create. I've got mine just defaulting opening up a drum kit. So that meant that when I've told it to open up Drum Kit Designer as my very first instrument automatically. I'm going to just show you the channel once I've selected it. Over here on the left hand side is the channel strip. So whatever you've got selected up here, if you've got multiple tracks, once you touch them, its channel strip will appear here on the left hand side next to its output or bus or whatever you've got selected. So first instrument on the list that comes with Logic is a synth called Alchemy. This stuff up the top is just the recent ones I've opened. So Alchemy, the very first one, it's sort of a complex synthesizer. There's a lot of third-party synths that you buy that give you really good dance music and hip-hop basses and synths and stuff. This thing really does it all anyway. There's no need for you to really buy that other stuff. It's only going to be different representations of the same thing. Let me just show you a like arpeggiated sounds would be like dance music. Let's say urban, complex. Just touch the key. Or it might be bass sounds that you're looking for. You want a electric bass sound, sub bass sound, all you just touch. Just keep on going down. Now remember, all of these sounds have effects. You've got your normal cutoff and resonance filter here, your normal envelope stuff, so your attack, release, your normal envelope stuff, plus you have a couple of XY bars here which allow you to use filters. And over here are all of the actual elements in the sound. So, you can actually, modify different elements within the actual sound. Very, very powerful machine. The arpeggiators obviously go to the tempo. That thing is a monster. It comes free with Logic. Free! Let's move on to the next one. Drum Kit Designer. This one here is probably the best sounding straight out kits. You can go and buy, look, I already own stuff like Slate Digital. I love Slate stuff. Notice how I'm making these ones smaller and larger. You can do that with Logic plugins and you can't do that with a lot of third parties. So also very, very cool that you can, especially with an EQ and stuff, you can just open it up and, look at it, especially if you've got a touch screen like I've got here. So, the kits are this is a standard kit. You can swap out the kicks and the snares. It's not just that one. You've got multiple kits here, so you can go through to whatever type of kit you want. Change out kicks and snares. Change, pitch, dampening, and volumes. Plus, you've got a little drop down here where you've got shakers, tambourines, claps, cowbells, because they're also in the list. So very, very cool kits. There's a drummer track in Logic as well where it plays automatic drums and percussion. This kit's fantastic. I've put it on records. I use it to program the drums when I'm just writing songs, just to get ideas down, and it's very, very good sounding kits. You know, I really can't fault it. As a you know, bunches and bunches of kits coming in, and that's free, right? Free virtual drum kits. Then you've got a drum synth, mono or stereo drum synth. So I've also bought the Kick and Kick 2 plugins where I just make my own doof, and that with, you know, this one here's any key, of course, and, you know, your pitch, your decay, shapes. You know, this has got everything else that the other ones have anyway, right? So you've got multiple instruments, you can do your snares and claps, pick one you want, you know. You can see that this is, you can switch the key tracking off so every note becomes the same note, you know, so if you're just using a pad and pitch doesn't really matter. You know, I think that you can have multiples of these because they take up no DSP at all. You know, have one for the kick, one for the snare, one for the hats. You've got everything in here that you really need if you're going to do your own electronic drum machine sort of stuff. You know, in the old days when we had 808s and 909s, you could do all of the same things, probably less control than what you can on this, on every channel, and that's what made those classic dance drum machines work so well. This gives you all of the power of that and plus. Remember, all of those things can be automated as well. You can record movements and have your snares and stuff and filters opening up during the song. Very cool. Okay, let's move on. You've got a bunch of little synths in here that have been here for quite some time. They're not very complex. FM synth is around your Yamaha DX7 days that had that sort of FM synthesis, percussive sort of things. So a very, very cool little synth if you're into that FM. Remember, these haven't got EQ or effects or anything. You can really do anything you want. So there's an FM one. There is an ensemble synth, which is your pads and strings, basic stuffs. Now this isn't using samples, this is synthesis, so you can turn on the knobs and change the sounds pretty well. The monophonic synth is still a lot like a really basic analog model, but monophonic, so you can only hit one note at a time. So you get that sort of, if you're into that portamento sort of thing. That's got a bunch of leads and basses as well, exactly the same. Polyphonic synth is a little bit more complex. This one has different waveforms and your envelope and, you know, your resonant filter in the middle. You can, because it's got chorusing and stuff, it just sounds a little bit wider and thicker. So very, very cool little synth. Now they're really simple. You've got an ES one, which I used to use as a lot back in when this came out, around when Apple bought it, I think, and that was before that. eMagic still had it, I think, around 2004, 2005 or so. This one's got some of my favorite bass sounds. There's some really fat. That one's pretty good, this one, for dance music. A very easy to use interface, the bender range, chorusing, you know, this guy's got a lot of cool little features in it. A nice little interface for a synth. ES2, the next one, is a little bit more complicated. Before the Alchemy came along, this one was the big synth of Logic. And this one has some a huge array of presets, leads, pads, bass, strings, keyboards, brass elements, which are going, you know, there's gated synths, which will obviously do, you know, your arpeggiated stuff. Some very cool, just simple sounds and basses and synths and leads in there too. So, and this is without effects. So adding extra effects are going to make these even bigger. A vocoder is included. Years ago in the 70s, vocoders I think were pretty big. Keyboard players would sing into a microphone and hold a chord or a note, and the vocoder would use their voice to create the filter, the sound, and you could basically talk in through the synth. Bands like ELO and stuff used to use it. They were very, very popular. This one here is very also useful to put on top of drum loops and stuff to give them a bit of a filtered effect. You can talk over the top and make it robotic or really synthy. It has a bunch of presets in it. You can basically external audio input. You can basically use one of your inputs on your interface or an actual audio track that has singing on it, sidechain it to it, and it will listen to that singer's track, and whenever you hold the keyboard, it will sing along in its synth sound, whatever you have selected. Very cool plugin. The vocoder seems like a simple interface on here, but it's very powerful under the hood, and definitely worth having a look at. The vocoder, everything should have a vocoder. You've got two different samplers. You've got a quick sampler. There used to be an ESX24 sampler with Logic. This is the new interfaces. They've split it into a simple one where you can just drag and drop an audio file. So if you have an audio file, that should just have this kick one here. Just throw a kick sample in. So any audio file at all, it could be a vocal, could be anything. And these days, you know, when you're buying pad boxes that's IK Multimedia, you know, that are manipulating vocal samples, this one will do it straight out of the box. Throw it in, change its pitch, its filter. You know, it's really has all of the effects, and you can have it as a one shot, so it just hits every time. You can slice it up if it's a beat, steal parts out of it, record straight into it. Yeah, this is really so easy, and it'll get you into sampling straight away. Very, very useful. So that one, and down the line they've got a multi-sample, which is one that I actually sort of load up stuff into. This is more like the ESX24. So the multi-sample, I use the, you know, you've got all your acoustic pianos, or, you know, there's a whole bunch of samples that come with Logic. You know, heaps of different pianos, electric pianos, basses, drum kits, acoustic kits. Look at all of these presets. You know, the keyboards, electric pianos. There is an actual electric piano instrument as well given to you for free. Synthesizers, look at all of these presets for synthesizers, strings, mega fat super strings, you know. Remember, all of these samples, or all of these loaded presets are using part of a synth engine as well. So you have, you know, you can manipulate your all of your envelopes here as well. It's a very cool and powerful thing. So, and it comes with so many presets. You can really start, you know, this sampler, the multi-channel sampler, is really the heart of all of your basic sounds. So there's so many that come into it. I've sort of built up a bunch of different sounds from the years, because I could input my Akai samples into ESX. So the ESX was sort of the killer of my rack-mounted Akai sampler. Once it came out, I just imported all my favorites into it, and I've had them in here for years. I did skip over a retro synth that's also in here. If you're into the Moog real cool analog and you have real synths, you'll appreciate this one. It has a lot more power than your general mini Moog sort of thing, because you know you still have your straight out more analog sound, but you have a lot more sort of things under the hood, effects wise. It's also the home of probably the best basses that you'll put in stuff as well, because it's just got fatness that you won't get in some of the other instruments. Notice how you've got an FM part of this as well, so you know it really does eliminate the whole FM synth that they've given you earlier. It really is giving you an FM input, inputted sound, and then treating it with your normal resonant filter style envelopes, which is sort of mixing the two together. So retro synth will get all your old sounds, studio horns and studio strings. This one's also free. This will give you your orchestral stuff, like this is just a straight out trumpet. And there's different types of, you know, effects. So you can go passionate. Let's try it. Saxophone. Sections, full sections. This is free, comes with it. Strings as well. So the studio strings is, it's really hard to find good strings, right? You know, good brass and strings. It's like, give me big, good strings. These are so manipulatable, and you can have multiples of them as well. Just push the release. So that's one string. You've got violins too. Violas. Go into ensembles. Small sections. And your notes on your keyboard aren't going to go too low and too high. These guys set them and go, no, that's too low for a cello. This is, you know, as far as it goes. So free, comes with Logic. You know, in Australia this is $319 or $315. I don't know why you would go and, you know, buy third-party instruments, or, you know, anyway. Ultrabeat. This one here is a very powerful analog drum engine, percussion engine. Now, you can load up kits. Got tons of different kits. Let's just go for, you know, a hip-hop kit or something, right? You can just hit different instruments and actually modify them on the fly. And save the whole setting, or you can actually load up full banks. I use it for the like analog kick drum bank, where I've got the whole keyboard kicks. How's that? That one goes way down. I'm talking, you know, you look at the waveform, 40, 20 hertz. That's just for dance music. That sound is great, you know, so cool. So all the different sounds, you find the one that you like and muck around with it. Look, this is very, very powerful analog drum machine. So you can input your own little stuff down the bottom and have gated sounds as well. This can be your full drum machine, programmable if you like, right? Choosing the things, going through your steps. Sequencer is there for you to use. Very, very funky synth. So you've got analog and normal and proper drums all totally covered. You've got a fantastic organ sound in here. Now this is drawbars, top, bottom, and basses. I like stuff like gospel organ sort of sounds. I use that mainly rock music and stuff. Now I put the rotor cabinet control I use. You know, I normally use my mod wheel to make it fast and slow. There is a little morph thing in here, morphing between two sounds that normally uses the mod wheel, but you can see the little switch moving now from fast to slow. And you can sort of, you know, still change your see what we're doing here, you know, like with your upper. Very cool little engine. And remember that the rotor cabinet on this is very, very powerful. It also has that Logic also gives you that in your modulation stuff. It gives you the rotor cabinet as a separate plug-in to put on anything, guitars and vocals and everything. That is one of the very best Leslie plugins that you're going to ever find, given to you for free. I'll go through all of the rest of the actual audio insert plugins on a different video. A clav. Now the clav will give you any type of clav that you're after. In, you know, you look at all the different and presets, heaps and heaps of them. And you've got, you know, you can move your different pickups in and out of phase. You got your rear and front swing and pick up across, so it's going parallel or across. And you've still got all of your normal. If you're into clav sounds, if you can't find the clav sound that you clav free electric pianos, as I said before. So this is going to give you a Rhodes, Whirly, suitcase piano stuff. So you can buy these too, right? Why would you if it's already going to give you something that's... So look, you know, the sounds that you got in here, you know, your drives on, chorus, phaser, tremolo. Okay, so that's your effects, plus you have different types of voicing, stereo with whether you're using times, and they're really belly or not, whether you can hear the damper, whether you can tune it, because, you know, some of these things sound a little bit stretched. Better if you can push your tuning a little to make it a little bit better. You know, this thing really has so many fantastic, and I have a Wurlitzer 200A as well. Pretty respectable. You know, I could really make this into anything that I want as far as e-pianos go. And they give you a mellotron as well, tape-based old synthesizer, so you could put in a sample. Really well known for its strings and choir stuff, and so you can. degrade it. So it's like a tape-based sort of synthesizer sampler thing. A lot of this stuff is coming right back. The retro stuff is very cool. Look at all the different, you know, options that you can put through here. Mellotron's a lot of fun. So that stuff is free with Logic when you get it out of this is just instruments, a bunch of samples, of course, so you can really have anything you want: pianos, guitars, basses, drum kits, you know, anything that you want just to create just about any style of music is already given to you with Logic, with all of its, you know. And this is not covering any of Logic's inbuilt plugins as well, on insert plugins, your EQs, your compression, all of your effect plugins, delays. So I'll make another video about that. But for now, this really, I hope this demonstrated to you what is really under the hood in Logic, and I hope that this helps you decide to maybe delve a little deeper into what you've already got if you're a Logic user, or if you're new, don't go out and start buying third-party synths and stuff, spending all your money. If Logic's already got it, use it. You can still manipulate it. It's not going to sound like everyone else's stuff. You turn a knob and have some fun. So I hope this has been useful. I'm the producer nerd. I'll see you later.